to talk about proportions. When we're talking about proportions, we are talking about two ratios that are the same. They may not look the same, but they are the same. So therefore, in this first example here, we've got 1/3 equaling 2/6. One yellow part is to two blue parts. One yellow, two blue, one yellow, two blue. So the way we can find out very easily if a ratio is in proportion is to multiply as is shown here. So while these are letters, if you could just imagine these being numbers and say, you can see an example down here. So what they've done is x times x has to equal 8 times 2. So then you get x squared equals 16, and the square root of 16 is 4 or -4, because it could be -4 as well. Now when x is 4, 4 times 4 is 16, 8 times 2 is 16, because they equal those two ratios, that is 4:8 and 2:4, are in proportion. So we're talking about finding ratios in proportion. So this one, you could use cross multiplication to find out if they're in proportion, or you can do it the other way. Either way, whichever suits you is fine with me. So what you've got here is 4:10, and we've got to find the value of n to make it in proportion to 10. So we've divided 4 by 4 to get 1, so 10 divided by 4 will equal 2.5. So therefore the ratio is 1:2.5, and yes, that can be a fraction, which it is in this case. Nothing says that it can't be. Here again you can see it's divided by 8. So we divide 34 divided by 8 to get our next part, so that becomes 1, and n equals 4.25, so the ratio is 1:4.25. What I've done here with this example is use the cross multiplication method to show that the two ratios are in proportion. So I've gone 8 times 1 is 8, and 0.25 times 32 is also 8, therefore they are in proportion. So a percent is actually a ratio because it's a fraction. So saying 25% is actually saying 25 per 100, or 25 over 100. The formula you use usually is part over whole equals percent of 100. That's kind of self-explanatory, because when you're talking 3/4, which is 3 is the part, 4 is the whole, the percent is 75%. So then if you got 3 here, 4 here, 75 here, and 100 here, when you times the 4 by 75 and the 3 by 100, you should get the same answer. The question is, what is 25% of 160? So the percent is 25 over 100 equals what we're trying to find, the part over 160. So we go 160 times 25 equals 100 times the part. Now we're just going to call the part, call it whatever you like, call it x, I guess. So you get left with the equation 4,000, which is 160 times 25. 4,000 equals 100x, and then you divide it by 100 to equal 40, so therefore the part is 40. So, okay, right, what is $12 as a percent of 80? In this case, we don't know the percent, the number over 100, but we do know the part and the full. So we've got 12 over 80 equals x over 100. This is the percent. So we end up with 1,200, which is 12 times 100, equals 80x, which is 1,200 divided by 80, because we're going to get the x by itself by dividing it by 80. And you get the answer of 15. Therefore, $12 is 15% of 80. You then go and type that into the calculator, 0.15 times 80, and it will come up as 12, and you know your answer is correct. And yes, there are other ways of solving this problem. So these examples that you get in your textbook, please use this method, because it will be advantageous to you later for the more difficult problems of this nature. The sale price of a phone was $150, which was only 80% of normal price. What was the normal price? Okay, so we're given the 80%, which is 80 over 100. We're given the part, but we're not given the full. So we've got 80% of this number equals of this number, which we don't know, which we've called x, equals 150. By the way, it doesn't have to be x, it can be y, z, a, b, c, it doesn't matter, it's any pronumeral or any algebraic symbol. So to get the x over this side, we've divided it, so we end up with 80 over 100 equals 150 over x. That becomes 80x, which equals 1,005, let me see, 15,000. That's a bit of a waste of time. 15,000 divided by 80 becomes $187.50. So therefore, 80% of $187.50 equals 150, which is the part here. And you can again check your calculations. Type in 0.8 times 187.5 in your calculators, and it should come up with 150. A student answered 86 problems on a test correctly and received a grade of 98%. How many problems were on the test? If all the problems were worth the same number of points, round your answer to the nearest whole number. Alright, I want you to pause the video now, have a go at doing this problem on your own, and then go back and watch the rest of the video and make sure you've got it correct. Pause. Okay, first thing you should have done is you should have wrote down what you know. Do this fairly quickly, don't need to spend forever. So the student got 86 out of something, which we're going to call x, to get 98 out of 100. So that's written as so, 86 over x equals 98 over 100. We just use the cross multiplication method, becoming 8,600 equals 98x. And we divide 98 into 8,600 to get 87.76. We are asked to round that to the nearest whole number, which would then make that 88. So you got 86 out of 88 to get that 98%. We know that if we did do we know that if we did do 86 divided by 88, it wouldn't equal 98 because of this whole rounding. So yeah, and that's it. Now there are more problems on the PowerPoint on the Learning Management System on Canvas. You can go through those at your own pace. Please don't be tempted to cheat. That's not going to help you. Go through them one at a time. Check your working out, check your answers after you've done the problems to make sure you're on the right track and doing everything correctly.